Welcome back, everybody. This is Jas Maheen for the Embassy of Peace. Gifts. Corona. Corona is a word for crown. A crowning time, a time of revelation, a time of wisdom. And as I've been meditating so deeply and watching, tuning energetically to global trends, I've discovered so many interesting things. We hope that you will bear with us for this complete insight and transmission, because the end result of this up-leveling is going to be incredible for our world. And here at the Embassy of Peace, we also want to give you a few particular gifts that we will share in the next few videos. Gifts that can really help to have your presence be a very nourishing one in our world as she goes through this upgrading, this up-leveling. Compassion, care, community care, self-care, a conscious awareness of the greater game. Community, community, community. I want to just share a little story. Before I began to film this morning, I received a phone call from a really dear friend of mine. She's now in her late 70s and she's been going through many changes like everybody in the world. And this past year, she found herself riddled with arthritis. Now, what that meant was that for her work as a healer, somebody who does beautiful energetic work and also hands-on massaging, she couldn't work much. So her income was going down, down, down. And many of you will experience this in the coming months. For whatever reasons, there's going to be huge economic shift in the lives of people and countries, as we know. It's part of this upgrading and shifting of focus, reality coming in. But my friend was worried, how does she pay her rent? How does she just manage financially? And today she rang me and she said, oh, you'll never believe it. I had my eye on a beautiful cottage close to where I live, and it was so much cheaper, but the person involved wasn't prepared to rent it out to anyone. But I was rung today and it's mine. She said not only that, but two of the local people in her community, young men who she'd shared a lot with and given so much of her expertise to, had contacted her and said, we will move you so it won't cost you anything. And she was almost in tears because she and myself could see that this was another level of care coming in. And this is care from a beautiful, benevolent field. So let's just talk a little about systems of support, as we've been sharing in some of our previous videos in Inspiring Real Life Stories. Recently in meditation, I saw a very interesting image about a lot of things that are happening on the world. And we want to use a metaphor like what I saw in this vision. I saw a huge mothership, like a massive UFO, but it's not an unidentified flying object. It's just a field, a holographic field. Now you could call this mothership true unity consciousness, a field of potential, a holographic field of potential. I then saw every little country on Earth like little starships, that now have the opportunity to return to dock in to the mothership that represents the highest of human behavior: community, compassion, and real care, self-care, care of ourselves, loving ourselves enough to do what's required right now, to give ourselves good fuel, to give ourselves good physical fuel, good emotional fuel, good mental fuel, and to unhook from fuel sources that drain us or create dis-ease physically, emotionally, or mentally, or even spiritually. So this is self-care, really plugging in consciously now to the fields of nourishment. Then we have the community care. Are we, as global citizens, are we going to go into rejection and fear and judgment and the blame game and all of that? Or can we just say, hey, it is what it is. Now, how can we serve? What can I do to have a positive, uplifting, nourishing impact in my family, with my community, and in this world, with this world? And we're going to give you our up-leveling technique in another video, so that you can begin to do more of that quite quickly through some recoding and repatterning. So what is so beautiful is some of our countries have gone straight into, we care about our people. I know it's going to be a huge financial cost, but let's put that behind, because money is not what's important. It's the health and the community and the care of our people. So when a country is operating with these three frequencies: community, compassion, conscious awareness, that all leads to self-care and care of each other, that is like putting us on a charted course, like a tractor beam from our little starships, to lock in to the motherlode, lock in to the hologram called true unity consciousness, the unified field, the mothership. Countries who are going into, no, it's all about money and I have to save business and it's your fault, no, it's your fault and you started this, and all those old games that we've played for so long. Countries that are still into those games, they're just going to be off course with the lock-in because the coordinates aren't matching. So here we have a major point of choice on planet Earth. Are we ready to lock in to the highest field of potential to begin to live as one people in harmony on one planet? And that is one of the gifts now. We have the opportunity of cooperation. We have the opportunity of sharing, and we have the opportunity of coming together and operating in a way for the greatest good of all, not just for a country, but for the whole world. So let's give you good news. I feel blessed. Now, I'm like many of you, I have consciously hooked in to good streams of mental nourishment. That means reporting that is not sensational, that is very responsible from many sources around the world, but also on the ground. And through our networks, I'm in deep communication with many people on the ground in China. So, what am I hearing from China? What have they learned? Many of our people in China have learned that they carry a lot of wisdom here, and a lot of ideas of how to be nice people, how to be loving people, how to be caring people. But when they're in lockup, lockdown, as they have been, in isolation with family, they are realizing that they're not living it. It's an idea, and they're trying to be patient and loving, but they realize that being cooped up together, they get that cabin fever, and perhaps they're not treating each other as well as they want to, and it makes them sad, and they're saying, how can I? How can I? How can I be a consistent, loving, patient presence in my family field and my community field? And so they've gone into prayer, they're doing more meditation, they are opening more because they can see the effect of their behavior or their inability to hold these frequencies on the greater field and on their family. Other people are telling me how the lockdown in China has been amazing because it's brought balance to their life. They're saying, wow, to me as a man, it was work, and I was doing the work 6 days a week or 7 days a week and the money game and all of that. And I didn't realize how disconnected I have been from my family. And now I've had the joy to give my sons breakfast and to watch my family in their day-to-day as I work from home. And I've realized the importance of work-life balance. That's just a couple of examples coming from China, who have been in lockdown for some time and unable to mix publicly or even go to work. Italy. My friends in Italy, they've been amazing. As you can see on Facebook and other social outlets, we are seeing our fabulous Italian friends singing arias from their balconies. They're in percussion and their violins, and they're making music. And every evening at certain times, they will gather, they'll open their balcony doors, and the whole community will come out and clap or sing or dance just on their balconies, still in isolation, because they've realized that just because they're in their units under lock and key well, not really, but they're in that isolation mode. They've realized that they can still connect in the cities with their community in amazing ways. People are offering so much more online now of loving support, and there is a huge movement of compassion and care. I remember many years ago, as I've shared in my previous inspiring real life stories, where I went through a phase in life of being diagnosed with cancer and losing many people I loved who were killed, losing all my money, everything just stripped away. And the greatest lesson I learned from that is all the important things, all the good stuff is free. I couldn't buy magazines or go to the theater or even movies anymore. And my children couldn't have the sort of clothes they liked, but they went and got jobs and they took care of that themselves while they were still at school. That was so good for them. But the biggest lesson I learned, and my husband at the time, was that all the things that we really loved were free. Cuddling each other, spending good quality family time was free. Walking in a park, watching a sunset, playing beautiful music. There are so much activities that we could do then, and we did do, that was completely independent of the money game. That was a wonderful lesson, to realize the quality of our life did not change depending on whether we had finances and money in the bank or not. So this is a great learning that many have already understood, and many more will learn as well. So could we say the first gift of this virus, the corona, the opening of the crown to higher ways of being and wisdom, can be for financial freedom, in that As we lose trillions in the stock market, as many small businesses struggle to survive, as many changes are coming economically across the world, can that bring us more back into the barter system, the exchange of goods of services, a completely new economy and way of being with a different emphasis of community care? And the answer is yes, yes, yes. It's so interesting how China is now sharing their abundance of resources with Italy, sending in doctors, sending in knowledge, sending in information on how they dealt with everything. And they're so open and willing to share this with others. Then we have Mexico. Then we have Brazil, and my people on the ground, ambassadors with the Embassy of Peace, have been reporting in almost daily and telling me, wow, doesn't matter what the governments are doing, people are aware, they are conscious. They are making sure they have conscious awareness of the greater game by plugging into uplifting media sources, sharing on Facebook all the good things they are witnessing beginning to come out of this, and also being aware. So, independent of presidents and prime ministers and people in positions of leadership, the people are taking their power. They are saying it doesn't matter what the prime directives are, what governments are saying. We can see what happened in Italy, compare it with China, and we are now taking measures to protect ourselves and our communities. Our light workers or our healers, they're sending out texts, they're sending out emails with free information on how to boost your immune system, how to take care of yourself, because we know the virus itself will be assimilated into society eventually and just be another flu that comes in to affect those who are a little weak, who may be struggling with health issues. And these are the ones we are looking at for community care. For example, we have just postponed our darkroom retreats, not because our people, we could have still done it. There were enough people coming, but a lot of people were blocked. But when I read the matrix, the fear, the worry in our families was beginning to rise. They were saying, do you have to do this? Do you really have to go to this country? Or can you just wait and do it another time? And that is another message coming in now. Frequency holding. Frequency holding. And a total conscious awareness of the impact of our behavior and our frequency on the fields around us. So I've seen this for years. In all our gatherings, I'll have a certain amount of people who say, I live in peace. And then I live in not peace. I am in the unity consciousness, I am in the game of oneness, and now I'm back in duality. And I feel as though I have my feet in two worlds. I'm doing the I'm on a bridge and I'm not quite anchored game. And this is interesting because when we fully embody the truth of who we are and we spend the time, which we now have, we have a lot more time now to play with. When we apply the lifestyle we share at the embassy, or we follow the call of the heart, when we stabilize in that energy that has all the love and all the power and all the wisdom to guide us, that is part of us, that's when our presence becomes very nourishing. So here's another test. Initiation. This is an individual initiation. Your ability to stabilize in the field of your choice. Now, if you want to play in the game of the them and us and conspiracy theories and the blame game and the trying to work it all out, that's beautiful. That's a free will choice you have. But then be aware of the impact of your energy as you do that on the greater field. What do the people around you need right now? Are you able to really go into that rhythm of peace? We offered you the free meditation, the breath, heart, brain, coherence meditation. Because the gift of coherence is that we can be fully stable in the now moment, able to sense the higher picture, understand the new pattern of energy coming in, and just see what is going on in our world with a much higher perception and act accordingly, and be a holder of wonderful, peaceful, conscious, loving, compassionate, aware, and real care energy. Whew. Big shifts are coming in. So we are aligning now. I can see, and many visionaries have seen, that as we come into compassion, as we come into a higher, more aware level of self and community care, as we have this consciousness, this higher perception consciousness, that is like chartering a course individually and collectively and as a community back to a true state of being, which is unity consciousness of the field of love and honor and respect and the acceptance of the different gifts we are giving each other on earth. The gifts Mother Earth and our embodiment here is to give us, but it's also the lock in to the mothership of unity consciousness. So we are watching countries now lock in compassion, self-care, community care, conscious awareness, heart, brain, coherence, coming into taking control of our energy independent of what is going on in our world, choosing to stabilize and act with higher consciousness and full awareness that we need to now celebrate that this period over the next 6 months is a necessary period in our evolution, because it's a way that is going to fulfill the call of the hearts of the human life wave to live in a different zone of reality as one people in harmony on earth. Many years ago, when the tsunami hit Indonesia, people were shocked and saddened, but it triggered compassion. And I was meeting a friend of mine for a drink in a coffee shop close to where I live in Australia. And we were just sitting quietly, a little bit like, oh, wow, 200,000 people left so quickly. And just tuning to this, feeling compassion for their families, feeling the waves of compassion go around our world. And I heard a conversation beside me with these people, and they were saying this, wow, that was a big soul group commitment and initiation. Imagine over 200,000 souls agreeing before embodiment that they would leave at this time in this way together to release the strongest, most powerful waves of compassion all around the world, so that Earth and its consciousness could up-level. In other words, that's upgrading with these compassion, care, conscious awareness, and community energy. And now we are here again. What game do you want to play? That's all. The game of being a nourishing presence, and we don't have to talk to be a nourishing presence. It's the frequency we are anchored in. And that frequency of peace, that frequency of love has so much power because it transcends time, space, distance. So even if we're isolated in our homes, no matter what is happening, we can anchor in that space and let these energies recalibrate us and let them move out through cellular structure to recalibrate the family field, the community field, the global field, and beyond. And so after a lot of meditation for me, feeling like, how can I help? With my skill set, what can I do in this world right now to help with the smoother transition through these coming times? And I realized that we have recorded a beautiful meditation. It's a meditation called I Love You. And we want to offer this free now on YouTube. We have already put a introduction to this video about what it does and why, and we'll give you the link in the description here on YouTube. But we're going to offer now and upload this meditation and have you do it. If you really want to go into community care and be a nourishing presence for your family in this world, then this is the most powerful way to do it. Because not only will it release the sort of energy that can heal everything and nourish everything and rebalance everything, but when you lock into that zone, those same energies will flood back through your body to recalibrate you. So it's a mutual energy exchange, which is what Unity Consciousness is about. The second gift we give you free that we've already had on YouTube is the relationship upgrading meditation. And this is a way of just working with quantum benevolence and coding to upgrade our networks, our relationship with self, with family, with friends, with the global network, and even out into the zones of unity consciousness with our intergalactic family and friends. As we dock in the mothership, we are going to come into a very different reality of true unity consciousness. So remember, the key codes for the upliftment, for planetary ascension, individually and globally, are compassion, a higher level of awareness of the impact of our energy on each other, self-mastery, making sure that we are aligned to the most nourishing frequency zones we can access, self-care, be aware, keep your immune system strong, and do the things we will also offer, the 5 levels that we are going to offer shortly again in the next video or very soon. And also too, community care. All of this is the lock-in codes to go deeper, deeper into the matrix of true unity consciousness on earth. And this is coming. This is happening. How long? It's up to us. The sooner we go into the compassion, self-care, community care, and holding the frequency of love, clear intention of how we want to operate. Don't do the fear game, the separation game, the blame game, or you can if you want, but you know that's going to keep you trapped and not in the lock-in zone for the mothership of unity. It's free will after all. And also too, we're going to soon offer the upgrading, up-leveling coding as well, but more. Source feeding. Wow, how can we do that? With supplies going so fast in our supermarkets and people stocking up because they are concerned and they do want to look after their families. But can those of you watching with more awareness, can you start to rewind your neural pathways just through a song? To sing a song. So we're going to provide you a very fun, uplifting song so you can move more into source feeding, so you are less dependent on human resources. So it doesn't matter if the supermarkets are empty and people are panic buying, even though they've been invited not to. We have to love each other. We do. It's a time of loving and accepting that some people are going to handle this with great fear and they need care. And then there are people who are so in their mastery and so anchored in the zone of love and peace, and they know what's going on. They've seen their own higher visions in meditation, and It's time for us to walk the talk and be the living example, as we know. So this is Jasmine, and thank you for staying with us through this video and taking the time to listen, and look forward to the different things we will now go on to offer. But how about the relationship upgrade meditation? Because how we deal with each other now is very important, and to be a consistently loving, compassionate, kind presence, kind to self and kind to others, is so important right now on earth.